Ano po? Askul pa.
Brad, askul ako. Nag-aas ako. Okay na ako.
Tawag na lang. Naka-join na po kayo.
Bye, class.
pandemic method of learning and teaching, we need to communicate with each other so that there is communication, and so that you know everything that is going on in our school. Because as a matter of fact, our DepEd is already shifted on its new axis. We are under pandemic, and all the issues that we ought to receive, we used to handle it collectively. So your teachers' role is to connect everyone, to connect the students and teachers, and to share the learnings amid pandemic. So there is a distributed leadership. What I mean of distributed is not only the teachers are needed to give you basic learning, of course, your parents are also needed so that we could work collectively. So we cannot emulate the past method of teaching and method of learning, because as what I have mentioned to you earlier, we are under pandemic. But we have a very strong determination that we could give you the best amid this COVID-19 pandemic. As a matter of fact, your teachers are doing very well, most especially during the last evaluation, regional evaluation, your teachers did very well. So, halos teacher nyo lang ang nagdala ng division natin. Why is it that I am saying this? Because we intend to give you quality education. Kalimutan natin ang pandemic, kalimutan natin ang nangyayari, although we need to understand that we have to keep ourselves safe. The school, the teachers, and the administration is trying its best to give you the best. The best. Kasi kayo ang the best sa division. We have the best teachers, we have the best students, we have a very big school, so that we are the best. And as what I have mentioned to you, you have to understand what you are going to listen to this morning so that you could use this in the future. And I'm sure, even we don't see each other, even you don't see your teachers every day, you have a communication with them every day, sana every day. And please always bear in mind, your teachers and the school are always here to help you. May we have a very rewarding day today, and good morning, everyone. God bless us all.
Thank you, Ma'am Nice, for that wonderful message. Thank you. At this point, we will proceed to the orientation proper, and to give us the policies of our school, and to give us information about the child protection policies. Let us all welcome our guidance coordinator, no other than Miss Rosel Rojas.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Sir Robert, for that introduction. So I would like to inform everyone that this orientation is composed of two parts. The first one is the child protection policy, then it will be followed by the school policy. So let me start my presentation. But anyway, You can ask questions at the end of this presentation or siguro at the end of the first part, pwede tayo mag-entertain ng questions. Maybe you can type your questions in the chat box. If you want, you can raise your hands. For those who are in the FB Live, you can type your comments, questions, or feedbacks. Mas maganda kung magko-comment tayo, hindi lang questions. So, sa mga nasa FB Live. And as for your attendance, I don't know kung ano binigay sa inyong instruction ng advisors niyo, pero kayo na gumawa ng paraan kung paano nyo mapapapunay yung attendance niyo. Okay? Or selfie, mag-selfie kayo, or screenshot. Okay, for, turn off na lang yung microphone nyo at saka yung camera if it is not needed. Okay, so let's get ready. Ayan, so can you see the presentation now? Nakikita? Okay, nakikita naman.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So this first part is DepEd Order number 40, series of 2012. So it is otherwise known as the Child Protection Policy. So maybe you're already aware of this during your junior high school at yung mga grade 12 naman, nagkaroon na rin tayo ng orientation natin nito last year, if you still remember. So we will just review this so that you will be aware of what child protection policy is. Baka mamaya hindi nyo alam, nagba-violate na kayo or baka naman kayo na din ang victim ng mga untoward incidents sa environment natin. So these are the policy and guidelines on protecting children in school from abuse, violence, exploitation, discrimination, bullying, and other forms of abuse. Now, what are the objectives or the DepEd Child Protection Policy? Bakit ba ginawa ito? So the first one, the policy aims to protect the child from all forms of violence that may be inflicted by adults, persons in authority, as well as their fellow students, including. So this is for everybody's protection. So, kasi nga, sabi ko nga kanina, you may not know na kayo pala victim na or baka kayo naman ay nag-victim na. So, you will be protected from infliction caused by probably adults or any person around you. Or pwede rin fellow students nyo. That includes bullying. I'm sure you are aware of what bullying is. The second one, it is to provide special protection to children who are gravely threatened or endangered by circumstances which affect their normal development and over which they have no control, and to assist the concerned agencies in their rehabilitation. Okay, so the second one, so again, it is to protect you from any threats by any circumstances. So anything that will put you in danger. So, na maaapektuhan yung inyong normal development na hindi nyo naman ginugusto or you have no control. And then at the same time, if you become a victim, this child protection policy will help you refer to any concerned agencies that will help you for your rehabilitation or whatever help that you may need. The third one, it is to ensure that such special protection from all forms of abuse and exploitation and care as is necessary for the child's well-being, taking into account the primary rights and duties of parents, legal guardians, or other individuals who are legally responsible and exercise custody over the child. So again, this is another special protection at the same time to let you know as well as your guardians, your parents, of what are the accountabilities and the responsibilities over you or over the children. And then, the last one, zero tolerance for any act of child abuse, exploitation, violence, discrimination, bullying, and other forms of abuse. So, meaning zero tolerance, we will not tolerate, or this policy will not tolerate any undesirable act. So that is why this will serve as your protection. Ano? Meron pa palang isa. Okay, this one, The policy guidelines have listed down the specific acts that constitute child abuse and violence which public and private schools cases use as a guide in addressing these social problems. So what are the specific acts that we need to know that will constitute child abuse and other forms of violence? But before we proceed to that, let us define some terms. Maybe you are wondering, bakit ba child protection policy ito? If you are going to look at the life cycle, pag sinabing child, those are yung mga ages 12 years old and below. In your senior high school, so most of you probably nagre-range ang age from 15 to 20 years old. So let us define what child is. So it refers to any person below 18 years of age or those over but are unable to fully take care of themselves or protect themselves from abuse, neglect, cruelty, exploitation, or discrimination of physical or mental disability or condition. So this is the normal definition of child. Yung tinatawag nating minor. So those who are 18 years old and below, or pwede rin naman they are above 18 years old but are not capable of taking care of themselves. Maybe because they have mental disabilities or maybe physical disabilities that they cannot take care of themselves, so they can be referred to as child also. So another definition of child here is it includes pupils or students who may be 18 years of age or older but are in school. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, bakit ba tinawag na child protection policy? So you yourselves are considered child kasi although you may be above 18 years old but you are in school, so you can be referred to as child. Okay, so malinaw ang definition natin ng child so that naintindihan nyo kung bakit child protection policy ang tawag dito. Another definition is children in school. So naintindihan natin bakit children kayo, bakit hindi students. So na-define na kasi natin kung ano yung child kanina, di ba? So when we say children in school, it refers to pupils, students, or learners who are enrolled in basic education system, whether regular, being temporarily out of school, who are in the school or learning center premises or participating in school sanctioned activities. So children in school, so as long as you are in school, so pwedeng ikaw ay regular, irregular, transferee, or repeater, or po pwede rin naman you are outside the school, but you are in some learning centers or you are outside the school pero you are doing some sanctioned activities. Okay, so sometimes we are referred to as learner. Minsan nakikita natin, learner, hindi students, learner. So these three actually are synonymous. It means a child who regularly attends classes in any level of the basic education system under the supervision of a teacher or facilitator. So parang ganun din. As long as you are studying under, except for the ones who are doing self-studying, you know? So as long as you are under the supervision of a teacher or facilitator, kasama dyan yung mga ALS. No? So let us proceed now with the prohibited acts. Ano ba yung pag sinabi nating prohibited acts, yun yung sinasabi nating bawal, yun yung hindi dapat ginagawa. So they are considered immoral kasi they do not conform with the norms of morality, you know? So what are these? We will tackle this isa-isa. So we have abuse, violence, exploitation, discrimination, bullying, and corporal punishment. So let us start with abuse. So since this is a child protection policy, we call this child abuse. So you listen carefully, baka mamaya sabi ko nga, you are already a victim or you are not aware, kayo naman ang nambibiktima. So child abuse refers to the maltreatment of a child, whether habitual or not, which includes the following. So child abuse, kapag sinabi nating minamaltrato kayo in different forms. So whether yung maltreatment na yun is done only once, twice, or it can be habitual. Ang tawag natin doon ay child abuse. So what are these child abuse? The first one, it is any act or deeds or words which the basis, the grades, or the means, the intrinsic worth, dignity of a child as human being. So, word. So, meaning parang ikaw to, binababa ang iyong pagkatao, mga salitang hindi ka naisang physically. Pwede ka rin the psychological or physical emotional maltreatment. So, pag sinabi natin physical abuse, yun yung physically binubugbog ka o inaabuso ka. Pag sinabi naman natin psychological, these are the kind of abuse na parang ang epekto sa'yo ay yung emotions mo, nawawala yung stability ng iyong emotions. You are affected by your emotions. So, yun tinatawag natin na psychological. So, it can be neglect. Napabayaan ka, ikaw ay, ano ba sa Tagal, cruelty, minasama, and then pwede rin naman sexual abuse, ano? So, another form of child abuse is unreasonable deprivation of the child's basic needs for survival, such as food and shelter. So, kapag ikaw ay dineprive ng iyong basic needs, so ano ba ang basic needs natin? Siyempre, we need foods for our survival. We need water. We need air. We need shelter. So, kapag yan, inalis sa'yo, so po pwedeng, kahit nga magulang nyo, po pwedeng nating sampahan ng kasong child abuse kapag kayo ay hindi pinakakain. Kapag kayo ay pinaalis sa inyong tahanan, ayan, pwede silang masampahan ng child abuse. Kahit sabihin nating disciplinary action yon, sanction yon dahil may ginawa kayong mali, child abuse pa rin kapag ito ay na-deprive sa inyo. Okay, the next one, failure to immediately give medical treatment to an injured child resulting in serious impairment of his or her growth and development or in the child's permanent incapacity or death. So, if you experience some kind of injury or your lives are put into danger and then you are not attended to first aid or you are not given medical treatment by anyone, if you are in your home, by your family members, or if you are in school, by your teachers or by any school personnel, kapag hindi kayo na-attend, they can be considered as child abuse. Okay. So, second one, after ng child, so that is the first prohibited act, child abuse. The second one, discrimination against children. So, against you. Pag sinabi nating discrimination, it refers to an act of exclusion, distinction, restriction, or preference, which is based on any ground, and which has the purpose or affect or nullifying or impairing the recognition, enjoyment, or exercise by all persons on recognition on an equal footing of all rights and freedom. So when we say discrimination, they treat you as different from the normal people. So maybe by your skin color, by your religion, by your race, by by anything na na-discriminate ka, na you do not belong to us, na-exclude ka because of some traits. Alam natin kung ano ibig sabihin ng discrimination. Kinrato ka na iba, you do not belong here. That is what is meant by discrimination. So for example, in your classroom, hindi ka pwedeng kasama dito kasi mayaman kami, mahirap kayo. That is discrimination. Or kaya, hindi namin tinatanggap yung mga kulot ang buhok o yung mga kinky. Something like that. That is discrimination against children. So another one, this is child exploitation. So it refers to the use of children for someone else's advantage, gratification, or profit resulting in an unjust, cruel, and harmful treatment of the child. So kapag kayo ay ginagamit, na ang nakikinabang yung taong gumamit sa inyo. They take advantage of you, especially if it is against your will, especially if it is harmful for you as a child. So ang tawag natin dyan ay child exploitation. So there are two types of child exploitation. The first one is sexual exploitation. So it is an abuse of position, of vulnerability, differential power, or trust for sexual purposes. So kapag ikaw ay ginamit for sexual pleasure. So katulad ng nakikita natin sa picture, hindi gusto ng bata or ginamit ng tao yung position niya or yung power niya. So po pwedeng ito somebody who is stronger than you, somebody who is above your position, and then they will ask you for some sexual act that is considered sexual exploitation. So makikita natin kung minsan yung sa mga balita, yung mga anak nila, ginagamit nila sa mga online pornography, pinagubad nila, kahit na sabihin natin in front of the camera lang yon. So it is considered sexual exploitation kasi ginagamit sila ng magulang nila or other influential person para sila ay pagkakitaan. So that is sexual exploitation. So another type of exploitation is yung tinatawag natin na exploitation. So it refers to the use of the child in work or other activities for the benefit of others. So ito naman, when we say economic, pangkabuhayan, pinagtatrabaho kayo and then yung kinikita nyo, hindi napupunta sa inyo, or po pwede rin naman, tamang sumusweldo kayo, pero hindi enough yung sweldo sa ginagawa nyong trabaho. So otherwise, kapag ito ginawa, they can be filed sa tinatawag natin child labor kapag kayo ay exploited. Now, you will notice kung minsan sa mga movies or kaya television shows at the end sa credit, kapag may mga artistang bata nakasali, hinihingan nila ng permission sa DSWD para payagan sila. Otherwise, they will be violating this child protection policy or yung tinatawag natin na child labor. So kung halimbawa kayo ay pinagtinda ng advisor nyo against your own will o ibenta mo to, that is economic exploitation kasi they use you for their own benefit. Okay? The third one, violence committed against children in school. So ito, violence din, katulad din ng mga una nating nabanggit, they are all considered violence. But this one, it refers to a single act or a series of acts committed by school administrators, academic and non-academic personnel against a child which result in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, psychological harm, or suffering or other abuses including threats of such acts, battery, assault, coercion, harassment, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty. It includes the following, So, katulad nung nabanggit ko kanina, they are all violence. But this one, kaya tinawag na violated against children in school, these violence are done in school, done inside school. Okay? So, pwede natin sabihin wala naman tayo sa school ngayon kasi, di ba, because of our situation, nag-online lang tayo or nagmo-modular. Yung iba sa inyo, kumukuha na dito, o yung iba, guardian ang kumukuha. So, possible pa ding mangyari itong violence committed against children in school. So, sino ba ang pwedeng gumawa sa inyo ng violence committed against children in school? So, pwedeng sila ay school administrators, pwedeng academic or non-academic personnel teaching or non-teaching na gagawa sa inyo. Okay, so ano ba ang mga violence committed against children in school? Physical violence. O parang kahawig din nung kanina, It includes bodily or physical harm. So, it also includes assigning tasks which are hazardous to your physical well-being. So, hindi lang yung binugbog ka. So, halimbawa, hindi mo naman kayang magbuhat ng isang sakong semento. Tapos, pinagbuhat ka ng teacher mo or kung sino man, it is considered physical violence. As long as you will experience physical harm, that is physical violence. So, this one, the same as what is discussed earlier, sexual violence. Ano? Acts that are sexual in nature. So, what are the acts that are sexual in nature? So, pwedeng rape, pwedeng sexual harassment. Pwede rin naman, you are forced to watch obscene or indecent shows. Kahit sabihin, manonood ka lang, pero you are forced. So, that is sex violence. Pinanood ka or kaya anybody from school, manonood ka lang naman di ba? So, still that is considered sexual violence. The third one, psychological violence. These are acts or omissions causing or likely to cause mental or emotional suffering the child. So this one, you may not experience physical violence, pero affected ng inyong mental or emotional status because of some acts. So halimbawa, hindi ka na makatulog sa gabi kasi naiisip mo yung experience mo. Nagkaroon ka ng traumatic experience that caused instability of your emotion or mental. That is psychological. And other acts or similar acts of violence to physical, sexual, or psychological nature that are prejudicial to the best of the child. Okay, this one's the most popular nowadays, bullying or peer abuse. Ano na pinagkaiba ng bullying sa violence? Ano? Synonymous naman yan. Ano? So when we say bullying, it refers to willful, aggressive behavior that is directed towards a particular victim who may be outnumbered, younger, weak, with disability, less confident, or otherwise vulnerable. So when we say bullying, it can be an aggressive behavior that is addressed toward a particular victim. So pwedeng yung victim ay mag-isa lang. Ano ba yung aggressive behavior? Ano? So yung aggressive behavior, yun yung mga masyadong nangingibabaw or masyadong dominant yung kanyang behavior to the point na na-overpowered kanya. So it can be done by a single person na usually ang victim nito ay yung mga outnumbered. So meaning mas marami po pwede kasing gang. So po pwede kasi yung perpetrator ng bullying, po pwedeng isa lang siya or po pwedeng group. So po pwedeng yung isa na yon or group na yon, ang victim niya ay those who are younger, those who are weak, yung kayanin nila. So po pwede rin namang yung binubuli ay group. May mga cases din tayong ganon. Group of people are being bullied by a single or maybe a group of students or persons that will bully you. Ano? So ano ba ang mga examples ng bullying act natin? Ano? So na-define na natin ito. So bullying in school committed when a student commits an act or a series of acts. So po pwedeng single act lang, po pwede ring series of acts. So katulad nga ng nasabi natin kanina, ang victim nila ay those who are younger, weak, and with different personality. Ano? That will cause your harassment. So, kung pwedeng ikaw ay nahaharas, na-intimidate ka, or humiliation. So, napahiya ka, or na-intimidate ka, not necessarily physical, yun, bullying yun. So, what are the forms of bullying? The first one, threats to inflict a wrong person upon the person, honor, or property of the person or on his or her family. So this first example is not physical. It is a threat. So kung pwede mong masabing yung threat na yan, it will cause you discomfort, di ba? So it can be psychological. So pag sinabi mong threat, pinagbabantaan ka, tinatakot ka. Ayan. So the second one, stalking or constantly following or pursuing a person in his or their daily activities with unwanted and obsessive attention. Kapag sinabi nating stalking, you are being followed to the point na you can feel discomfort kasi pwedeng sunod ng sunod sa iyo yan, kung pwede rin ni-stalk ka sa social media, sa messenger mo, or sa cellphone mo, na yung attention niya is very obsessive na. That is called stalking. Okay, the third one, this is common, taking of property. Of course, hindi ito simpleng stealing lang di ba? Kinukuha niya talaga, hindi ninanakaw. So, pwedeng inaagaw niya sa'yo, you are forced. Akin na yan, bigay mo sa akin yan. So, any property, pera, gamit mo sa school, ayan, that is a form of bullying. This one, the fourth one, public humiliation or public and malicious imputation of a crime or of a vice or defect, whether real or imaginary, or any act, omission, condition, status, or circumstance tending to cause dishonor, discredit, or expose a person to contempt. So, public humiliation or malicious imputation, so meaning ikaw ay napahiya. Kahit na ikaw ay may ginawang crime, di ba, sabi nga, kahit yung kriminal, may right sila sa human dignity. Kaya kung minsan, kapag sila nakaka-experience na ng sobrang humiliation, papasok ang human rights. Pero in our case, dahil you are still child, hindi kayo sa human rights papasok since you are discussing child protection policy. Kaya yung public humiliation of children, pasok dito sa child protection policy. But anyway, this child protection policy, let me remind you na hindi lang ito sa school, kundi ito ay batas na isinagawa, hindi lang sa school, kundi para sa lahat talaga. Okay, the next one, deliberate destruction or defacement of or damage to the child's property. So ito, hindi inaga o kung hindi sinira yung property mo, sinira, ginalaw, na hindi mo na siya mapapakinabangan. That is form of bullying. And then this one, physical violence committed upon a student, which may or may not result to harm or injury with or without the aid of a weapon. Such violence may be in the form of mauling, hitting, punching, kicking, throwing things at the student, pinching, spanking, or other similar acts. So ito na yung physical violence, talagang sinasaktan ka. So sinaktan ka kahit na wala kang injury or kung meron ka mang injury, that is physical violence. So ano mga with or without the aid of weapon. So not necessarily na may weapon, as long as ikaw ay nasaktan with or without injury. So ano mga example niyan? Sinapak ka, sinuntok ka, sinabunutan ka, kinurot ka, binato ka ng kahit anong bagay or any similar acts, yun yung tinatawag natin na physical violence. Okay, medyo marami yung bullying natin, The next one, demanding or requiring sexual or monetary favors or exacting money or property from a pupil or student. Yung tinatawag nating extortion or yung tinatawag nating kotong. Yung hinihingan ka ng pera, Yung hinihingan ka ng pera or not necessarily pera, Pwede rin hinihingan ka ng property or pwede rin hinihingan ka ng sexual act, sexual favor. So, form of bullying. And then the next one, restraining the liberty and freedom of a pupil or student. Kapag nawawala na sa'yo yung freedom mo, so pwedeng ikaw ay ikinulong. O ano pa ba ang other forms of na inaalis yung freedom mo, pinipigil ka na huwag magsalita. By threatening you na huwag kang magsasalita. O yun nga, ito yung sinabi natin kanina, na ikaw ay ikinulong na wala yung freedom mo. And then the next one, ito pwedeng maraming mangyari ngayon. Ito, the cyberbullying, kasi dahil nasa bahay lang tayo. Cyberbullying, any conduct defined in the preceding slides as resulting in harassment, intimidation, or humiliation through electronic means or other technology. So, yung mga binanggit ko kaninang violence, except for the physical ones, kapag ginawa siya through technology, ang tawag natin doon ay cyberbullying. Pwede bang magkaroon ng sexual violence sa technology? Of course, pwede. Nag-text ka lang ng mga bastos na messages, that is considered cyber bullying. Or last semester, nagkaroon ako ng kaso na ganito, dinala sa akin ng isang advisor, may minumura siya ng mga kaklase niya, nanggugulo siya sa group chat. So that is considered cyber bullying. So ano ba ang mga technology na po pwedeng gamitin dyan? So po pwedeng through texting, pwedeng email, instant messaging, yung chatting natin sa internet, social media, lalo na kung sa wall nyo ipopost yung inyong pangbubuli, or other platforms of formats of technology. Ayan. So, tapos na tayo dun sa bullying. So, the fourth one is corporal punishment. Ano? Refers to a kind of punishment or penalty. So, ibig sabihin ito, parusa or penalty. So, probably you may commit or you may violate some acts, some laws or some policies. You will be given punishments. Kaya lang, hindi po pwede yung corporal punishment. It is imposed for an alleged or actual offense, which is carried out or inflicted for the purpose of discipline, training, or control by a teacher, school discipline, school administrator, an adult, or any other child who has been given or has assumed authority or responsibility for punishment or discipline. So, itong corporal punishment, ginagawa yan, sabi nga natin kanina, kapag meron kang ginawang offense, meron kang na-violate. So, kaya lang, to the point na yung punishment, severe, is disciplinary action lang naman po yung ginagawa namin. So, meron na kasing bago ngayon, kaya wala ng corporal punishment, meron tayong tinatawag ngayon na positive discipline. So, it is another act of disciplining those who are for the offenders, pero hindi ganito. So, tingnan natin, baka mamaya kayo meron na experience ito. What are the corporal punishment that should be avoided? Inom lang ako sandali, First one, blows. Blows such as beating, kicking, hitting, slapping, or lashing of any part of a child's body with or without the use of an instrument such as a cane, broom, stick, whip, or belt. So, katulad nung kanina, physical violence, So, ginamit yung physical violence in disciplining you, So, hindi po pwede yan, So, it can be with or without the use of any instrument. Basta sinaktan ka at parusa, hindi po pwede yan. The second one, striking of a child's face or head, such being declared as a no-contract zone. Meron tayong tinatawag na no-contract zone. So, ibig sabihin yung mga parts of our body na hindi po pwedeng tamaan. So, in-strike ka, sinapak ka sa ulo or sa muka, yun yung tinatawag natin na contract zone. So, yun yung dalawang example ng corporal punishment. Meron pa, pulling hair, shaking, twisting joints, cutting or piercing skin, dragging, pushing or throwing off a child. So, yan, sinabunutan ka, niyugyug ka, binalian ka ng mga joints mo, o kaya ginupit ang buhok mo, tapos you are being dragged, o kaya kinaladkad ka, or tapos binalibag ka kung saan. Ayan. So, the next one, forcing a child to perform physically painful or damaging acts, such as holding a weight or weights for an extended period and kneeling on stone, salt, pebbles, or other objects. So, if you are forced of an act na damaging, you are forced. So, ito nung araw, nangyayari ito, paluluhurin ka sa asin o kaya sa munggo. Ayan, o kaya padidipahin ka, harap ka sa wall, tapos meron kang libro sa dalawang kamay mo or sa ulo mo. Ayan, yun yung mga tinatawag natin na corporal punishment. O kaya, eto pala, meron pa palang kasunod. Deprivation of a child's physical needs as a form of punishment. O ayan, dahil sa ginawa mo, hindi ka kakain ngayon, hindi ka iinom ng tubig maghapon, dyan ka lang. Ayan, corporal punishment yun. Okay, the next one, It is the deliberate exposure to fire, ice, water, smoke, sunlight, rain, pepper, alcohol, or forcing the child to swallow substances, dangerous chemicals, and other materials that can cause discomfort or threaten the child's health, safety, and sense of security, such as insecticides, excrement, or urine. O yan yung bibilad ka sa araw, o kaya patutuntuhin ka sa yelo, sa bloke ng yelo, no? O kaya pauusukan ka, o kaya pasisingkutin ka ng pepper, yung paminta, no? O kaya alcohol, o kaya may ipapalulun sa'yo. Especially kapag dangerous na yan, ano? Pipilitin kang lumulok ng insecticide, o kaya ihi, ano? So, yan, ang mga corporal punishment. Medyo marami corporal punishment na hindi po pwede, ano? Tying up a child. So, itinali ka, ano? So, kung minsan, naalala ko last time, ano, yung isang estudyante, nakaupo sa armchair niya, hindi niya namamalayan, itinatalo pala yung belt, yung sinto, ang tawag doon, yung sa belt niya, yung suutan. So, pagtayo niya, nakatali pala siya. So, nahila niya yung upuan. So, tying up a child is a corporal punishment. The next one, confinement, imprisonment, or depriving the liberty of a child. So, yun, kinulong ka. Ano? So, parang yung kanina, corporal punishment naman ito. Kinulong ka or you are confined in an area na hindi kagandahan. Ano? Ayan. Verbal abuse or assaults, including intimidation or threat of bodily harm, swearing or cursing, ridiculing or denigrating the child. So, kung ikaw ay verbally abused, kahit pinagagalitan ka, pero to the point na yung mga sinasabi sa yung words ay in the form of swearing or cursing na, yung talagang nade-degrade ka na, bumababa na yung dignidad as a child. Okay? The next one, forcing a child to swear a sign, to undress or disrobe, or put on anything that will make a child disrobe, or that will make a child look or feel foolish, which belittles or humiliates, look or feel foolish, which, doble, in front of others. So if you are forced to unwear, halimbawa, pinaghuhubad ka, or kaya pinagsuot ka na something that you are not comfortable kasi gagawin kang katawa-tawa. Ano? Or that will make you look foolish. Ayan. So that is corporal punishment. This one, permanent, take note ha, permanent confiscation of personal property of pupils, students, or learners, except when such pieces of property pose a danger to the child or to others. So there are times na talaga kukuhanin yung personal property mo, especially if it is destructive or kaya hindi talaga po pwede. So, there were times, nung time na meron pa tayong face-to-face, may mga teachers na kino-confiscate ang cellphones. Kasi bawal ang cellphone sa loob ng classroom. Kaya lang, yan, kapag kinuha ng permanent, that is corporal punishment. Pwede kayong magreklamo. Pag sabi kasi permanent, pero ito, kung kinuha lang, while you are having your classes, hindi natin po pwedeng sabihin corporal punishment yon. Kasi in the first place, you violated a law or a policy, kaya kinuha yon. So, yan. So, may, as long as permanent, ano, yan, pwede kayong magreklamo. Pero kung ito ay temporary lang, you don't have the right to complain. So, that will be all for the first part, ano. So, that is our child protection policy. Bakit ba kailangan pa nating i-orient ito? Ano, wala naman tayo sa school. Sabi ko nga, ang child protection, hindi lang naman sa school dapat tinitingnan. Hindi outside the school. Pwede rin sa loob ng bahay nga mismo, pwede kayong maging victim. So that is the reason why you need to be aware of the child protection policy. Now, before I proceed to the next one, to the school policy naman, I will entertain some questions. If you have some questions, you can type in the chat box, or you can, for those who are in the FB Live, you can type in the comment section. Okay, anyone? Let me see. 1 minute. Maghihintay ako ng question if you want to verify something. Seems like wala. Is everything clear to you? So anyway, this is just a revisit, kasi nga, I think, annually, nagko-conduct tayo ng child protection policy since nandun pa tayo sa junior high school natin, or probably nung elementary pa lang tayo, ino-orient na tayo sa child protection policy. So, no question? So, can I proceed to the next policy, the next orientation? Okay, wait lang ha, iayos ko lang yung Sir Louie, pwede ba, paano ba? Ililipat ako ng, excuse me lang ha, ilipat lang ako sir ng slide ng ito. Ito ba sir yan? Ito na sir, ito. Yan sir. Okay na sir. Okay, so the next part is the orientation on discipline on manual or code of conduct. Nabanggit kanina ng ating MC na si Sir Robert, ignorance of the law excuses no one. So, kapag tayo may mga na-violate, hindi natin po pwedeng sabihin alibay, hindi ko po kasi alam. In all forms of law, hindi tinatanggap yung reason na hindi mo alam. Kasi nga, ignorance of the law excuses no one. So before I start, let me share you one story. Few years ago, I hope some of you are aware of this. Kung kilala niyo I don't know, kalimutan ko yung pangalan niya, si Private Kudya. Sa PMA, he is about to graduate. He was already on his last year of schooling in PMA. So, kaya lang, na-late siya sa klase niya, 2 minutes. 2 minutes lang ha, na-late lang siya. Nagkaroon siya ng sanction. Nawala yung kanyang, nakalimutan ko na kung ano nangyari sa kanya, kung siya ay natanggalan ng honor, or siya ay, basta meron siyang na-violate, at ang violation lang niya, na-late lang siya ng 2 minutes. And because of that, nag-reason siya, kasi daw may kinausap siyang higher up, kaya hindi siya naka-attend or hindi siya nakarating on time doon sa next class niya. So, sa bagay, sasabihin natin, sundalo naman siya, kaya dapat lang. Alam niyo ba kung ano nangyari sa kanya? Hindi siya pinag-graduate sa PMA. To think na last month na lang niya sa PMA, gagraduate na siya. Hindi siya nakagraduate because of that one simple violation of law. So, what is my point here? It is very important to follow any policy. Kasi kahit saan naman tayo pumunta sa bahay, meron tayong batas na sinusunod na ini-impose sa mga magulang natin. Kasi can you imagine a world without a policy or without a law? It will be a chaos, di ba? Kasi lahat na lang tayo may freedom. Pwede na natin gawin lahat ng gusto natin gawin kasi wala namang law or policy that control our act. So that is why it is important to understand what are the code of conduct in school. So, para alam natin, kahit sabihin natin na online naman po tayo, wala naman po tayo sa school. So, who knows, probably, we can never tell next year or whenever, magkaroon na tayo ng face-to-face. So, you are already aware of our discipline manual or school policy or our code of conduct. So, by the way, this code of conduct are based on the Batas Pambansa bilang 232. So meaning our school policy is anchored on this law. So meaning this is nationwide. Doon natin hindi ito inimbento lang ng school. We are guided by this Batas Pambansa. Particularly we can see this under section 9. Ito pala, hindi pala muna yung code muna tayo. But first, let me discuss to you what are your rights as students in school. So you have your rights, hindi naman po pwedeng tagasunod lang tayo. You should know what are your rights or what are your karapatan. The first one, you have the right to receive primarily through competent instruction, relevant quality education in line with national goals and conducive to their full development as person with human dignity. So, in short, you have the right to be educated. You have the right to receive instructions. You have the right to quality education. Kaya kayo, kung nakaka-experience kayo na hindi kayo natututo, you can exercise your rights, ano? Because that is your right. This is batas na nandito sa ano yan nasa Philippine Constitution that we have the rights to education. Ayan. The second one, you have the right to school guidance and counseling services for decisions and selecting the alternatives in fields of work suited to his potentialities. So meaning you have the right to school guidance and counseling. Kaya lang, iba sa inyo, ang concept, pag narinig ang guidance office, ang naiisip nyo agad is punishment. Ang naiisip nyo agad ay discipline. Let me correct your notion. Pag sinabi nating school guidance, kaya nga from the word guidance, it means to correct you, to guide you, to give you some help. So kung may mga violate kayo at dinala kayo sa guidance office, it is for you to be corrected, not to be punished. Although, sometimes you are given disciplinary acts because baka too much na yung ginawa nyo, ano? So, ano-ano ba ang services ng guidance and counseling? So, hindi lang siya for disciplining. So, katulad ng career guidance or career consultation, personal problems, yan, ang mga services available sa school guidance office natin. Ano pa ang next right nyo? The right of access to his own school records, the confidentiality of which the school shall maintain and preserve. So meaning po pwede nyo ma-access yung school records nyo. Pag sinabi nyo ma-access, pwede nyo makita. Except for the records of your classmates. Ang po pwede lang matingnan ay yung own records mo. So for example, you are wondering, bakit ba ako nakakuha ng mababang grades? You have the right to access your records. So pwede mong tignan sa teacher mo yung class record mo. But you cannot compare your grades with your classmates. Baka sasabihin mo, running for honors ka, you are, tapos may kakompetensya ka, gusto mong makita yung grades nung kakompetensya mo, bakit mas mataas yung nakuha sa yung grades? Gusto mong tingnan yung grades ng classmate mo, that is not your right. Because meron tayong tinatawag na confidentiality. Again, ang pwede mo lang tingnan is your own records, not your classmates, only your own. Ano? Ayan. Okay, another right. You have the right to the issuance of official certificates, diplomas, transcript of records, grades, transfer credentials, and other similar documents within 30 days from request. Ano? So that is your right, except kapag ikaw ay na-expel from school. Hindi ka makakakuha ng, halimbawa, certificate of good moral kasi nga, na-expel ka, meaning meron kang ginawang hindi ka nais-nais sa school, hindi mo po pwedeng, it is my right na kumuha ng certificate of good moral, ikaw ay na-expel, ano? And take note, within 30 days from request. Hindi yung makademand, yung ka nag-request, kayo mo din kukuhanin. Probably, yung iba po pwede yun. As long as it is available po pwede yun. Pero kung ito ay ipe-prepare pa, you have to wait of not more than 30 days from request. Pero hindi naman tayo umaabot sa ganyan katagal. Ano? And then, the right to publish a student newspaper and similar publications, as well as the right to invite resource persons during assemblies, symposia, and other activities of similar nature. So you have the right to publish a student newspaper. Po pwede tayong magkaroon ng student organ, ano? Or the newspaper, or any other publications as long as wala kayong mababiolate dun sa publication na yon. And you have also the right, di ba, magko-conduct kayo ng symposium, seminar, or trainings, you have the right to invite a resource person. And the right to free expression. Ito, nasa Philippine Constitution yan, ano? Free expression of opinions and suggestions and to effective channels of communication with appropriate academic channels and administrative bodies of the school or institution. You can freely express your opinions and suggestions As long as hindi kayo lumalabag dun sa norms of moralities natin, ano? Baka sabihin mo, ma'am, may freedom of expression kami, pero yung freedom mo, inaabuso mo. So that is not considered right. Pagka ganun ang ginawa natin, that is already an abuse, no longer a right. So, and at the same time, when you express your suggestions, you have to make use of the proper channels of communication. So, meaning you have to address them with the appropriate person. So, yung mga administrative bodies of the school or institution. Next, the right to form, establish, join and participate in organizations and societies recognized by the school to foster their intellectual, cultural, spiritual, and physical growth and development, or to form, establish, join and maintain organizations and societies for purposes not contrary to law. Take note, not contrary to law. So you can form any organization. You can form a group as long as your group is not against the law. So meaning, your purpose should be foster your intellectual, your cultural, spiritual, and physical growth. So meaning, hindi kayo po pwedeng magtayo dyan ng fraternity na ang purpose is violence, na ang purpose is makipag-away. So hindi natin po pwedeng sabihin, right ko yan. Again, that is abuse because that is against the law. And then this one, the last one on the right to be free from involuntary contributions, except those who approved by their own organizations or societies. May karapatan kayo na hindi magbayad sa involuntary, di ba? Kaya nga, except kapag ito ay, excuse me, approved by the organization or societies or by the school. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag authorized contribution. So yun, hindi nyo po pwedeng sabihin free kasi that is pinayagan nyo ng DepEd, ng Division of Fees or ng DepEd itself. So those are your rights of students in school, your rights as students in school. Now to balance, hindi naman po pwedeng puro rights. Ano ang katapat ng rights? Kasi kapag puro rights, lahat pabor sa inyo, di ba? Wala nang magkocontrol. So that is why, counterpart of rights are the duties and responsibilities of students and learners. So ano ba yung mga duties and responsibilities nyo? So syempre, yung unang-una, you have to comply with the school's regulations as long as they are in harmony with their best interest. So ito, later on, you're going to see what are these school's regulations. So first, responsibility mo is to comply with those regulations as long as those regulations are in harmony with your best interest. So ano-ano ba itong mga regulations na yan? Ito na yon. The first one, medyo hawig din ito sa kanina, kaya I think there's no need to further elaborate this. Engaging in discrimination or leading a group of pupils or students to discriminate another with reference to one's physical appearance, weaknesses, and status of any sort. Nabanggit ko na ito kanina doon sa child protection policy. Nagdi-discriminate kayo kasi kakaiba siya. Iba yung physical appearance niya, iba yung culture niya, iba yung kulay niya, iba yung lahi niya. So you are violating the school policy. So later on, makikita rin natin ano ba mangyayari kapag kayo ay nag-violate. Okay? Ano pa ito? Doing any act that is inappropriate or sexually provocative. Any act that is inappropriate. Malalaki na tayo, matured enough na tayo para alam natin kung ano yung mga inappropriate acts na yan. So, halimbawa, nagsisisigaw ka dyan sa loob ng school. Naninira ka ng gamit. So, that is inappropriate. Or, sexually provocative. So, meaning, nagpapakita ka dyan ng kalaswaan. O kaya, nagsuot ka ng hindi proper. That is inappropriate. Okay, the third one, participating in behavior of other students that is illegal, unsafe, or abusive. So, kahit sumali ka sa mga, kahit hindi ikaw ang nag-initiate pero sumali ka sa mga illegal, unsafe, or abusive acts that is against the school policy. Halimbawa, may nagsusugal. Sasabihin mo, ay, meron lang po ako, nanonood lang ako. Still, kukuhanin ka para ikaw ay magkaroon ng disciplinary action. Ato, marking or damaging school property including books in any way. So, nanira ka ng school property. So, books. So, katulad ngayon, in our case, yung modules natin, yung mga printed modules natin na nakakarating sa inyo, dapat hindi natin sinisira yan or sinusulatan kasi school property yan. So, kung dito naman tayo, kung face-to-face, kasama dyan yung mga nagsusulat tayo, vandalism, na naninira tayo ng school properties. Engaging in fights or any aggressive behavior. So, common na to, self-explanatory, nakipag-away ka, ayan, nanugod ka, sumugod ka ng kaklase mo. Whether may kasalanan siya or wala, hindi dapat tayo nagdi-display ng aggressive behavior. So, continuation ng school's regulations na dapat yung i-comply. Introducing into the school premises or otherwise, possessing prohibited articles such as deadly weapons, drugs, alcohol, toxic and noxious substances, cigarettes, and pornographic material. So when you say introducing, nagdala ka sa school ng mga bawal na bagay na hindi dapat dinadala, katulad ng deadly weapons, ice pick, baril, syempre, knife, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, itong madalas natin mahuli nung araw na may face-to-face pa, hindi naman po namin ginagamit nasa loob lang ng bag. Possession pa din yun, pinasok mo pa rin sa loob ng school. So that is against the school policy. That also includes pornographic material. So whether printed or nasa cellphone lang yan, hindi dapat dinadala. Okay, and then, performing other similar acts that cause damage or injury to another. So, similar acts na kayo ay nagkakos na ng damage or naninira kayo or nananakit. Similar acts. Ayan. So, the following are the duties and responsibilities of, continuation pala, students and learners. Conduct yourselves in accordance with your levels of development, maturity, and demonstrated capabilities, with the proper regard for the rights and welfare of other persons. So meaning, you should act according to your age, So at your age na you are already 16, 17, 18, you are already matured enough, you will act as if you are elementary pupils, Act according to your maturity. So, kung ikaw ay mag-a-act dyan na para kung bata na nang-aaway ka, that is against the school policy, Iihi ka sa isang lugar na hindi naman dapat. Hindi nasakop ng age mentality mo yun, Okay, the next one. Respect another person's rights, regardless of opinion, status, gender, ethnicity, religion, as well as everyone's moral and physical integrity. This is very important. Respect another person, respect your kapwa, sabi nga. If you have the right to your opinion, if you have the right to be protected from any harm, the same with other people around you. So kung ano yung gusto mong gawin sa'yo, ganun din yung gawin mo sa iba. Kung iba yung opinion niya, sa opinion mo, iba yung status mo, sa status nyo, you have to respect that. Always remember that we are different individuals with different personalities. Meron tayong mga individual differences na minsan taliwas sa gusto natin, so we have to respect that. If you do not like kung ano meron sila, then keep it to yourselves. Do not express it to them. Do not harm them dahil lang hindi mo gusto. Observe the code of conduct for pupils, students, and learners. So that is one. Yung binanggit natin kanina, yun yung mga code of conduct. Now, disciplinary cases. So meaning, these are the cases that will give you disciplinary actions, Ayan. So, wherein interventions, penalties are given to you if you committed this one. Ayan, malapit na tayong matapos. First one, cheating, dishonesty, Academic cheating, yan, maraming nangyayari yan, yung module nyo, i-upload nyo sa group chat nyo yung sagot nyo. Kung nahuli kayo, that is considered cheating. So, you will be given disciplinary action for that. Dishonesty, hindi kayo naging honest. Stealing, very simple, nagnakaw, kumuha kayo ng gamit ng iba. Assaulting a teacher or any other school authority or his agents or other learners. So, assaulting a teacher or any other authority, meaning sinugod nyo o sinabihan nyo ng hindi maganda. So, alam nyo ba, kahit hindi tayo physically nakikita, may nangyayari pa rin ganyan, Last time, mayroong isang estudyante, binastos-bastos niya yung teacher niya doon sa group chat. Pinagbintangan niya yung teacher niya na binawala yung kanyang module. So, pwede namang sabihin in a nice way. Pero ang ginawa niya, binastos niya. So, that is assaulting a teacher. That requires a disciplinary action. Okay? Smoking inside the school premises and bringing tobacco products or vapes, etc. So, kapag kayo ay nanigarilyo, it also covers bringing, not only smoking, hindi lang yung ginamit nyo, kasama dyan yung nasa loob ng bag. Kasi possession pa din yon. Kasi last time may mga nahuhuli kaming ganyan. Ma'am, nasa bag lang naman po, hindi naman namin ginamit. Still, bawal pa din yan, kasako pa din yan. Vandalism. Writing on or destroying school property like chairs, tables, windows, books, laboratory equipment, and others. So pag sinabi nating vandalism, mga sinusulatan natin yung walls, other properties. Very simple lang yan. Gambling of any sort. Pagsusugal, whether pera yan or whether titikan lang kayo sa ilong or sa tenga, as long as involved ang pagsusugal, that requires disciplinary action. Drinking intoxicants and liquor or entering the school premises under the influence of liquor or bringing of alcoholic beverages. Minimal lang yung nainom nyo school. Isang shot lang naman po hindi naman ako nalasing. Ang issue dito is when you go inside the school na you are under the influence of alcohol. And worse, hindi lang kayo uminom ng kayo pumasok ng nakainom, kundi sa loob pa kayo mismo ng school. Ni-remind ito yung mga case natin na may disciplinary action. Carrying and concealing deadly weapons or magdadala kayo ng mga deadly weapon instruments. As long as deadly yan, that is prohibited. Extortion or asking money or in kind from others. Nangongotong kayo, pinupwesan nyo na manghingi kayo, whether pera, pagkain, sabi ko nga kanina, even sexual favors. Fighting, causing injury to others. Away, nag-aaway kayo. Hazing in any form or manner, whether inside or outside the school premises. Alam niyo na yung hazing, di ba? Ayan. So, yung hazing, whether outside or inside the school premises, pasok pa din yan sa disciplinary action natin. Sexual abuse, immorality, illicit relationships. Alam na natin, sexual abuse, immorality, illicit relationships. Ano ba yung illicit relationships? Ano yung mga relationships that are not legal? So, halimbawa, nakipag-jowa kayo sa classmate nyo na may asawa. Ayun, illicit yun. O kaya, sa teacher, pero wala naman tayo naririnig na ganung case dito sa atin sa Liwag, na nakipag-jowa sa teacher yung estudyante. The next one, instigating, leading, or participating in concerned activities leading to stoppage of classes. Nag-cause kayo or nag-cause kayo ng distraction of classes. Kayo yung nangunguna na wag magklase o sasabihin nyo, kayo class president. O classmates, wag na tayong pumasok. O kaya, classmates, wag na tayong mag-login sa online natin. Or classmates, wag tayong mag-pass ng modules natin ngayon. That is subject to disciplinary action. Preventing, threatening learners or faculty members or school authorities from discharging their duties or from attending classes or entering school premises. So, nagtathreat kayo na o kaya you are preventing, parang pinipigil nyo yung anybody or any faculty member or school authority na gawin yung trabaho nila. you are causing them not to do their works, so that is subject to disciplinary case. So for example, yung teacher nyo, ma'am, huwag kang papasok ha, pag pumasok ka, lagot ka sa akin. Ayun, that is an example, threat. Ayan. Forging or tampering with school records or transfer forms. Dinaya nyo yung school papers, school records nyo, yung forms. Ginaya nyo yung pirma ng principal o kaya ng advisor nyo. Kasi nangihingi kayo ng extra money sa parents nyo. Gumawa kayo ng solicitation letter. Tapos pineki nyo yung pirma. That is forging. O yung school records nyo, yung card nyo, dahil may baksa kayo, binago nyo. That is forging. Patronizing suspected prostitution din, gambling, and pornographic places. When you say patronizing, pumupunta kayo doon sa lugar na yan, So, halimbawa, dyan sa isang gilid ng Liwag, meron diyang isang area na dyan, pwede kayong uminom, pwede kayong mag-smoke, Kung pwede kayong ma-raid, i-raid kayo, kung pwede kayong kasi you are patronized din, pumupunta kayo doon sa lugar na yun, probably merong prostitution doon. Or kaya gambling place yun. O dito, may case, hindi ko na lang sasabihin kung saan, dito sa isang gilid dyan. Merong tindahan dyan, pinapayagan nila, doon kayo mag-smoke, doon kayo uminom. So that is subject to disciplinary action. Ayan. Bringing, using, and selling of pornographic materials. So pornographic materials, whether printed or whether soft copies lang yan, nasa cellphone or nasa USB, nasa flash drive nyo. Ayan. Pinakita nyo, pinamigay nyo, or goods in school. Nagbenta kayo, practicing, cutting of classes, and tardiness. Ayan, syempre, subject to disciplinary action yan, yung absenteeism. Kaya kung may face-to-face lang tayo, marami tayong case na ganyan. So in our case, dahil tayo ay nasa different scenario, mga disciplinary action? Yung late submission of modules nyo, doon sa cutting of classes naman, sa mga nag-o-online, yung hindi nyo tinatapos o hindi nyo ina-attenan lahat ng online classes nyo. Tardiness o yung late submission o kaya yung late na nagla-log-in kayo sa online classes nyo. 8 o'clock ang klase pero magla-log kayo 8:30. Ayan. Okay, the next one, loitering inside the school campus, especially inside the classroom and corridors. Yung pagkakalat, kakalat kayo ng mga plastic cups, bottles, papers, or any other waste na talagang kinakalat nyo. Loitering and staying inside or outside the school campus during class hour. Yung kakalat-kalat kayo dyan. Sa bagay ngayon, wala tayong klase, so hindi siguro mababiolate ito sa ngayon, Staying inside or outside the school, kakalat-kalat kayo dyan, focus kayo ng distraction. Ayun. This one, bringing in and using gadgets like cellular phones, iPad, PSP, etc. inside the school campus, except kung yung gadget nyo ay gagamitin nyo sa classroom. Kaya yung teacher nyo, kapag kayo kinukuha na ng cellphones o yung iPad nyo, they have the right to do that. Hindi po pwedeng sabihin right nyo yun kasi this is our school policy. So, pwede lang natin sabihin abuse yun kapag yun ay hindi isinoli sa inyo. Kapag yun ay permanente kinuha. So that is your responsibility. Do not use your gadgets while inside your classroom. Unruly behavior inside the classroom or school premises during assemblies, school activities, etc. Alam nyo na yung unruly behavior, yung mga behavior that is not pleasant, So, inside the classroom or school premises, so kung halimbawa, kung kumukuha man kayo dito ng modules, ayan, nagpakita kayo ng unruly behavior, you are subject to disciplinary cases. Uttering profanities, swear words inside the school campus, Ano ba yung mga profanities and swear words na yan? Yung mga nagmumura kayo, nagsasabi kayo ng mga hindi magagandang salita. Staying inside or outside the school campus during class hour. Sabi na natin ito kanina, Parang nadoble lang. Teka, parang nadoble, nag-ulit-ulit lang, Ayan, sorry, hindi ko nakita to. Going to restricted places. Yung mga restricted places, yung mga hindi nyo po pwedeng puntahan. Dito sa Liwag, ano-ano ba mga restricted places natin? Dun sa junior high school, you are restricted, hindi kayo pinapayagang magpunta doon kasi there were times nagpo-cause ng ng away. So, yung senior high school, inirestrict sila na magpunta ron, ganun din naman. Yung may tinatawag sila doon na manukan, they are restricted places. Yung mga nakatagong lugar na po pwedeng gawan nyo, maging place para gumawa kayo ng mga milagro. Tampering of school ID, such as placing stickers and other objects on school ID. Ito, very simple lang, Pero hindi kayo aware na ang pag-tamper pala ng school ID ay against the school policy at po pwede ring bigyan ng disciplinary action. Nilagyan nyo lang ng sticker or nilagyan nyo ng kahit anong object yung school ID nyo. Ayan. Not giving letter to parents, kasi baka may tinatago kayo. Hindi naging aware yung parents nyo na meron palang communication kasi hindi nyo binigay. Ayan. Ayan. Drug dependency or drug use. Ito kahit hindi natin siguro sabihin na school policy yan. This is not a school policy. This is a policy by the government, na bawal ang drug dependency or drug use, possession and sale of prohibited drugs, So, meron na tayong naging case na ganito minsan, 2017, So, pagka ganun ng case, drug dependency, hindi school ang magbibigay sa inyo ng disciplinary action. You will be referred to DSWD if you are minor. Pero kung hindi naman kayo minor, sa police desk ang diretso nyo kapag kayo ay nahulihan yan. This one, joining fraternities para sa lalaki, sororities para sa mga babae, and gangs. Lalo na kung yung purpose ng mga group na yan ay talagang violence. Ito bullying acts. Sasabi na natin kanina kung ano yung mga bullying acts. And other analogous acts that may endanger, threaten any learner, school personnel, or the school. Any act, as long as you are putting dangers or you are threatening anybody in the school. Ayan. Okay, so na-mention na natin yung mga cases that are subject to penalties and prohibited acts. Now, let us proceed to the last part. So, the penalty shall be commensurate to the offense committed. So, the following are the corresponding penalties that shall be given a learner. Meron tayong tatlong classification ng offense. Yung una, yung tinatawag nating minor offense. So, ito yung mga simple lang. Like, for example, yung cheating, ayan, mga minor, yung magaan lang. Kasi tatlo The first offense, if you are caught, reprimand with counseling with parent. Papaalalahanan lang kayo. But we have to call your parent and report in the guidance office. Take note, reprimand na may counseling kasama yung parent nyo. Second offense, suspension of 1 to 2 days with counseling with parent. So, kapag ikaw ay suspended, meaning to say, lahat ng school activities hindi ka kasali. Kung nag-quiz, kung nag-exam, automatically, 0 ka. And at the same time, when you go back to school, may counseling ka na naman with your parents. And then sa third offense natin, it will be treated, it will be, itataas, ile-level up yan to a less grave offense. So, for the third offense, you will be suspended for 3 days and at the same time, ile-level up natin yung case nyo into less grave offense. So, ito, paano kung may fourth offense pa? Iakyat na natin dun sa less grave. So, sa minor offense, as a less grave offense, so these are the offense. For the first time, katulad nung kanina, naakyat kayo dito, suspension shall not exceed 3 days. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lalagpas ng 3 araw naman. For the second offense, 1 week na kayong suspended. 4 to 6 days. And for the third time, nagagawa kayo, shall be treated as a grave offense. Le-level up na naman, Thus, you will be suspended for 7 days. So, meaning, 7 days, hindi kasali yung weekend, Saturday, Sundays, and holidays, pagka kayo ay nasuspend. Ayan, matatapos na tayo. The last one. Okay, the grave offense. So, this is yung mga masyado ng malala yung ginawa nyo. So, suspension for 7 days. At take note, upon resuming sa school, kasama yung parent sa counseling. Second offense, suspension for more than 7 days but not more than 1 year. So, ibig sabihin, more than 7 days, pero hindi naman lalagpas sa 1 year. Pwedeng months, pwedeng weeks. And kapag ito, dumating tayo dito, it will be referred to the SDS for approval. So, baka mamaya na-implement sa inyo, pwede kayong magreklamo. Baka walang approval ng SDS. And for the third offense, ayan, suspension for 1 year or more. Magpahinga kayo ng 1 taon. So, meaning maghihinto muna kayo. Meaning, hindi rin kayo pwedeng lumipat ng school kasi hindi nyo pa rin naman makukuha yung credentials nyo. So, if that is the case, it will be referred. So, yung DepEd Secretary natin, si Madam Leonora Briones. Leonora nga ba? And then the fourth offense, this is the gravest one, the expulsion. Meaning to say, hindi ka lang makakapag-aral kahit lumipat ka sa ibang school. Kasi pag expulsion, wala na. Tapos na ang kinabukasan mo. Hindi mo na makukuha lahat ng credentials mo sa school, thus you can no longer proceed to the next level of your education. So, thank you. That will be all. I hope that makes it clear for you. So, para alam natin kung ano yung nababiolate natin. May questions ba tayo? May comments ba, Sir Louis, sa FB Live?
Sir Robert.
Okay.
Thank you, Ma'am Rosel. At this point po, we are welcoming your questions po regarding what Ma'am Rosel has discussed regarding the school policies and child protection policy. Thank you, Ma'am Rosel, for that very comprehensive discussion and presentation of questions po of students who are present here at in our Google Meet, and later we will be reading some comments or questions from the Facebook. So let's ask first those officers who are present in this Google.
Mix sila. Ayun, meron isa.
Yes po, you may speak na po. So I think wala.
Nagsalita kanina.
Mamaya lang po sa Facebook. Sa Facebook Live po ba, Sir Ma'am Rosel? With the help of our technical team there, on your end.
Teka. Wala din.
I think naunawaan po nila ng mabuti ang inyong diniscuss, Ma'am Rosel. Kaya siguro, yes, Mr. Darcel. Mr. Darcel Parungaw. Siguro nag-aan lang yung may technical problem lang po. Questions? So, I think na-discuss ng mabuti po ni Ma'am Rosel ang ating mga school policies and the child protection policies that we have in Department of Education. Yung mga questions, we will be ending this orientation. Yes, ma'am.
Before we end this session, so I would like to thank some people who are behind this, so those people who extended their help, of course, to you, for accepting his job. Thank you very much. And of course, to Sir Louis for the technical assistance, Sir Rayan for allowing us to use his computer laboratory, and Sir Gian for another technical assistant. And to Ma'am Nice also, and to Ma'am Tess for the support. And for, of course, to all the class officers for attending, and to other students who are in the FB Live, and to their advisors, for giving us this chance. So we will have more on the next few months, siguro mga career guidance talk naman natin for grade 11 and grade 12. So, yun lang. Thank you very much, everyone.